Welcome to Eager Little Beavers.
One pattern that keeps coming up, both professionally and also personally. Having both ADHD and autism, what many now call AuDHD, it's honestly a push-pull experience. ADHD brains crave spontaneity. ADHDers, overstimulation might come from too much happening at once. Autistic brains, on the other hand, crave routine. Any sudden change can feel distressing and even threatening. Social situations feel like speed chess with too many tabs open in your brain. You thought, wow, that's me. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Raising Them Right. I'm your host, Almaz. Today's episode hits very close to home. Not just because I work with neurodivergent children and teens as a behavior support practitioner, but because I'm currently doing an in-depth course on pathological demand avoidance and neurodivergent profiles. One pattern that keeps coming up, both professionally and also personally, it's what's called AuDHD. That's when a person has both autism spectrum disorder and also attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. So in today's episode, we're going to explore 5 clear signs that someone may have both ASD and also ADHD, how these traits interact and sometimes conflict, and also how understanding this dual identity can help us reduce guilt, overwhelm, and also misdiagnosis. Let's get started. I also would like to put out a disclaimer. I am no shape or form a professional to diagnose anyone with autism or ADHD. So please reach out to a medical professional, psychologist who can actually diagnose you with autism or your child with autism and ADHD. I am just sharing insights of my experiences with clients which are both diagnosed from a medical professional. For multiple reasons, let's start with sign number 1. Difficulty with social interactions. Now here's how this looks when you have ADHD. You might interrupt often, lose focus mid-conversation, or miss body language cues because your brain is already 5 steps ahead or somewhere else entirely. Social situations feel like speed chess with too many tabs open in your brain, and perhaps it's just too much. Now with autism, social interactions are often overloaded with unspoken rules. You may struggle with eye contact or even picking up on the wrong facial cues or misimplied meanings. People might say you come off as blunt or perhaps emotionally distant, even when that's the last thing you intend to do. Now imagine both of these happening at once. That's the AuDHD experience. You're zoning out and overanalyzing. You're trying to focus, but also second guessing every single thing. Maybe someone tells you to cheer up because your face is flat, but internally you're bouncing to the soundtrack of your favorite song. It's not about disinterest or rudeness. It's just about how our brains operate. Sign number 2 might be intense focus on special interests. You see, ADHDers tend to hyperfocus. When something grabs your interest, you're in deep, but often temporarily. You might become an expert in a topic in a week, or then suddenly you pivot to something completely different. Autistic individuals also dive deep, but often stay in one topic or interest for years, even decades. And there's a strong desire to complete a project fully, often ignoring things like sleep, food, or even breaks. Now put those together and you might find yourself starting 5 projects at once, falling in love with all of them, and finishing none. Then the stress kind of builds up. I care about this, I need to finish this, but your executive function says nope. Cue overwhelm, meltdowns, and shutdowns. If you know that inner tug of war, you're not alone in this. Here's another sign. Sensitivity to sensory stimuli. For ADHDers, overstimulation might come from too much happening at once. Crowds, clutter, chaos. For autistic individuals, it's often more intense and specific. Certain textures, lights, smells, or even clothing can trigger shutdowns. Now picture both. One moment you want adventure, the next the room smells off. The noise is unbearable, someone touches your arm unexpectedly, and your brain just short circuits. One of my clients with AuDHD once said, "Crowds make me nauseous, but I still want to hang out with my friends. Then I need 3 days to recover." It's honestly a push-pull experience that can be exhausting and hard to explain to others who only see the meltdowns and the negative experiences, not the sensory avalanche that caused it. You see, adherence to routines is also that routine battle sign. ADHD brains crave spontaneity. The idea of structure can honestly feel suffocating. Why stick to routine when we can follow the dopamine? Autistic brains, on the other hand, crave routine. Structure offers safety, regulation, and predictability, and any sudden change can feel distressing and even threatening. Now imagine both of these coexisting. You want freedom and novelty, but your nervous system freaks out when the pain changes. You go out to socialize, get overstimulated. You get home, and suddenly the ADHD brain kicks in again, replaying everything. Did I say something weird? Did I offend someone? Was I too much? Was I not enough? You start ruminating, convinced that something did go wrong, even if nothing went wrong. That's the post-socializing overthinking spiral many AuDHDers know too well. It's this tension between craving stimulation and also needing recovery from it. And it's also relentless. Here's sign number 5, executive functioning challenges. Let me tell you, this is the one that often shows up in almost every client I work with who's navigating ADHD, autism, or both. ADHD makes starting tasks difficult. You want to begin, but your brain is like, where do I even begin? You get distracted, you overplan or underplan, you impulse buy a $200 gadget for a project you haven't even started. Meanwhile, autism often means monotropic focus, or once you're in the zone, interruptions hurt. You can't switch gears easily. You get thrown off, the sequence is disrupted, and even though you want to keep going, your sensory or emotional bandwidth might hit 0, and then you crash. With AuDHD, you're bouncing between, I can't start, wait, now I can't stop. Oh no, someone interrupted me. I'm overwhelmed and I forgot to eat. I have no idea how long I've been doing this. Where's the charger and why am I crying? It's chaotic, it's exhausting, and it's also incredibly human. Now, what does this all mean, you may say? So if you've been listening and you thought, wow, that's me, you're not alone. And having both ADHD and autism, what many now call AuDHD, is more common than we once thought. And yet, so many people are underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed, or misunderstood because their challenges don't fit cleanly into one label. If this is you or your child, you're likely dealing with a brain that's wired for intensity, novelty, depth, and also vulnerability all at once. It's why you might thrive creatively but struggle with executive function, why you light up during a sleep deep conversation but crash after small talk, why you feel everything but have trouble showing it. Now, what can you do to help? Here's what I tell my clients and what I practice myself as I continue my own studies. Learn your rhythms, rest before you crash, pause before you melt down. External supports help. Timers, visual schedules, accountability partners. These aren't crutches, they're tools. Self-compassion is also everything. You're not lazy, rude, dramatic, or broken. You're wired differently. And most of all, find your community, find your village, whether it's through podcasts like this, support groups, or social media. Finding people who say, same is healing. So to recap, if you struggle with social interactions, jump between intense interests, get overwhelmed by sensory input, live between craving spontaneity and needing routines, and feel like your brain is constantly battling itself just to complete a task, you may be living with AuDHD. And also, you're not alone. I see you, I work with you, and I'm learning with you. If this episode resonated with you in any way, please share it with a friend or a loved one. And if you have tips, tools, or even just stories that you'd like to share, please do DM me or comment below. I'd love to bring those into a future episode as well. Until next time, take care of your beautiful, complex brain and stay curious, stay kind, and as always, keep raising them right. Good luck.
Thank you for watching. Remember to take care of yourself because you're worth it. If you enjoyed our video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more interesting and informative parental support.